Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing A Wrinkle in Time. Not so much spoilers, more so just the plot and my thoughts on the movie. So here we go. So this is a remake. There was an older version of this movie that was made, and this movie is also based off of a book. I never read the book, and I haven't seen the older version of this movie. So I didn't have any expectations going in. It was a blank slate, and I was just entering this world for the first time. So this movie is about a little girl named Meg, played by Storm Reid. Meg, her parents are scientists, and they're trying to prove that you can travel through space and the universe, which sounds crazy, and other scientists don't believe them. So that's her parents. They end up adopting a little boy named Charles Wallace. But right after he's adopted, like he's he's two, their dad disappears. No one knows what happens to him. Just one day he was there, and the next day he wasn't. So this is 4 years from the day that he disappeared. So Meg is in middle school by this time, and Charles Wallace is 6. Charles Wallace is a really smart little boy. Meg is really smart too. But since her dad has disappeared, she is incredibly sad, and that sadness makes her angry, and she isolates herself from other people, and she doesn't have very many friends, and people bully her because middle school girls are evil, and they bully her. One night, Meg and her mom are upstairs arguing because Meg fought back against one of the bullies, which is actually a really funny scene. But they're arguing about that, and they hear Charles Wallace downstairs talking to someone, and they go down there, and he's talking to Mrs. Whatsit, played by Resse Witherspoon. So that's our first time seeing her. Later on, we see Mrs. Who, played by Mindy. Oh, I'm forgetting her last name. I'm sorry. I forget her name. But she is Mrs. Who. And then later on, we're introduced to Mrs. Which, played by Oprah. So these are the 3 Mrs. They all have different characteristics. Mrs. Whatsit is the youngest. She's very sassy, and she's always saying her opinion, and she talks down about Meg a lot. And she's always saying, like, Charles Wallace, I don't know about Meg. I don't know why we had to bring her along. I am so underwhelmed by Meg. And she kind of parallels to the bullies in Meg's life, kind of talking her down. But the difference is with Mrs. Whatsit, it comes from a good place, and she just wants Meg to reach her potential. That's how I feel. But so that's Mrs. Whatsit. Mrs. Who does not speak her own words. She only speaks quotes, and they range from Shakespeare to Outcast, and it's interesting to wait and see which quote she's going to pick to relate to the moment. Mrs. Which, she's more like this ominous, all-knowing, motherly presence, and even the other misses look up to her as well. So that's them. They show themselves, all 3 at once, and they tell Meg, we think that your father is alive. He's just trapped in the universe. Let's go find him. So that's the plot of this movie. So the 3 misses, Meg's younger brother, Charles Wallace, and a boy from Meg's school named Calvin, who they don't really know. Calvin just shows up, and he says, I don't know. I felt like I needed to be here. So he just showed up at their house one day, and they ask him, like, you want to go too? And he's like, sure. And they go on this adventure through the universe to find her dad. So that's the main plot. But it's interesting because that's what they set out to do. But really, this is a movie about a journey to finding who Meg really is. Because Meg, not only is she sad, depressed, and upset, but she's also very insecure, and she doesn't like who she is, and she wishes that she could be a different person. At one point, Oprah says something so powerful. Well, not Oprah, but Mrs. Which says something so powerful, and I'm paraphrasing, but she says something to Meg, and she compliments her, and Meg's like, me? Like, are you talking about me? No. And then Mrs. Witch is like, do you know what had to happen? How many choices, how many things had to take place in the universe for you to be created? And this is really powerful statement, because it's like, it's true. Like, no one's created on accident. Like, so many things had to be aligned, and people had to decide these things at this moment, and so many different things had to happen for you to be who you are. So there's no way that it's a mistake. You are who you are because that's who you're meant to be. And that's what Meg has to come to terms with, and has to grow to accepting herself and finding self-love and self-worth. And that's what this movie is about. It really is about Meg. And I don't want to spoil anything, but again, this is a kid's movie with a very simple plot. They're going to find her dad. I don't think it is a spoiler, but I'll say spoiler warning just in case. They find her dad. I don't think that would surprise anybody. It didn't surprise anyone in my theater. You know that eventually she's going to find her dad. But even after they find her dad, that's still not the climax of the movie. The climax is trying to see if Meg is ever going to get to the point where she loves herself and knows that she's deserving of other people loving her too. That's what this whole movie is about. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. And like I said, this is a children's movie, but I don't think that it's just for children. And I think that anyone who's ever struggled with self-acceptance or self-worth, self-love would appreciate this movie and can relate to Meg. I'm 25. I can relate to Meg. I think if I was 55, I could relate to Meg. And I think especially kids her age, and I think that younger kids would enjoy this movie too. Kids more so in the age realm of Charles Wallace. By the way, the actor who plays Charles Wallace is so good. I don't know his name, but that little boy, he can really act, because I don't want to spoil anything, but his character changes at a point in the movie. He did a really good job. I enjoyed that little boy, and he's so cute. He's wearing like a sweater vest the whole movie. How can you not like Charles Wallace? But I think that those kids did a great job. Not just him, but Storm Reid, who's Meg, and I don't know the little boy who plays Calvin. I don't think he's not a little boy. They're like teenagers, but he did a good job. All the misses did a great job. I don't know if I have a favorite one. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed all of them. It's a good movie. It's a simple story with a beautiful message. How to love yourself and why you should love yourself. And it's a really good movie, and I recommend you seeing it. I think that you should support it for a whole other reason, because it has a mainly female cast and a female director. I think that's important to support. But for what it is, it's just a really good movie. It has a great message. It's beautiful to look at. There's so many different scenes that just are so cool. At one point, Meg is like floating through this abyss, and there's like these golden ribbons around her. Like, if I can find it, I'll put a clip in here, but it's so visually stunning, some of the scenes in this movie, and they did a great job. I loved it. Yeah, so that's it. I definitely recommend A Wrinkle in Time. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.